Hi.
Thanks for joining me today. Everybody who's tuning in, I'm Kelly Wilson, and I'm the Director of Community Partners with Taste Local Difference, and I'm here with the team at Radical Coffee Project. Do you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Scott.
I'm Morgan.
I'm Kathryn.
Thanks for being here today, guys. And you're based in Michigan, but you're both all in different parts of the state, right?
Yes, so, we're socially isolating in different spots right now. Scott and I are in Detroit proper, and then Kath, I think you're in Midland, right?
I'm in Midland now. Yeah, but I typically am in Lansing.
Okay, cool. So mid-Michigan is generally your territory.
Yes.
Awesome. So I'm a huge fan of your coffee. It's the coffee that I had for breakfast this morning. But for those of our audience that don't know about your coffee, it's Radical Coffee Project, obviously. And I would just love for you to share a little bit about what makes your coffee unique, or what's the radical aspect of it.
Scott's our like promotional speaker. Let's let Scott take this.
Scott, this is all you.
Okay, so we fall into like this specialty coffee world. So our coffee is specialty grade, but what makes us really unique is we source our coffee directly from a group of 50 farmers that we work with directly on Lake Atitlan in Guatemala. And this is a really special relationship for us. And the fact that we don't just work with them as business partners, we're working to support them because they are heroes in their community. So we work with them in a sense that we ensure that they receive a fair and equitable price for their coffee that not only supports them as a business, but then allows them as a business to support their community. So typically we'll pay a minimum of twice the local market average per pound of coffee. And that's really to help take away the economic stress of working from season to season and kind of barely making it, which is a common theme for a lot of coffee producers, especially in this area of Guatemala that our farmers are located in. So that's what's special about us, is that we have established this relationship and visit every single year and spend time with the farmers. Yeah. And then another piece of what makes us radical is all of the proceeds from coffee sales are used as small interest-free loans to entrepreneurs here in the state of Michigan, but also in the same community that we get the beans from. So most recently, we were visiting our farming partners, and we helped extend a loan to build a new processing site for them.
Cool. Awesome.
So the term radical comes from our way of going about our business. And for us, that's a values-based approach. And we don't think that should be radical to do in today's world. So that's where the cheeky name comes from.
I love it. And that's what makes me appreciate your coffee so much, is that values-driven approach, right? And I think that speaks to a lot of other people. So how did you guys start doing this? How did you make those connections, and when did this all take shape?
Yeah, so Scott, Kathryn, and I, we all graduated from MSU in 2018.
Okay.
We were part of a microfinance group on campus. So we started in that micro lending space as like a student organization. It's called the Spartan Global Development Fund, and it's a 501c3 nonprofit that's on campus. It's run almost entirely by students, and they fundraise on campus and around the area to fund these interest-free microloans to people in impoverished parts of the world. And so we got introduced to Chakaya, which is the coffee association that we source from, when we were down there visiting loan recipients for the first time. So we hadn't met them before, we hadn't lent to them, but our, like, we call him a field partner that kind of facilitates the on the ground aspect of lending. He was like, you guys have to like come meet this coffee cooperative, like I want to show it to you. And we were kind of like, oh, like maybe they would be good recipients of a loan. We were not going into it thinking that we would be here right now. We were just at that time juniors.
No, it was
our senior year.
So this was December of 2017.
Yeah, so we were ready to graduate, and none of us were like, yeah, we're gonna start selling coffee. Like but we were down there, and we like started talking to the cooperative a little bit more, and we realized that what they needed wasn't capital or like funding. They just needed a market, like a fair market to sell their coffee to. Sure. And so we decided to do what we could and kind of just made this project. And here we are.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really exciting. And I know you guys aren't roasting your coffee. You have another partnership, right? That you're facilitating the beans coming from Guatemala to Michigan, and then like the sales side of the finished product, but you have somebody else that's doing the roasting, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And what's really unique about the way that we got into this space is, for a lot of coffee companies, they'll start here in the US and then go search for people to supply the coffee and build relationships that way, where we kind of started in the opposite way, where we got the idea to do this from sitting in coffee fields, and then kind of brought that relationship back here to Michigan. So it really just goes to show how strong our relationship is with our partners, because it more or less started organically as opposed to searching who could fill our needs.
Yeah, for sure. And it started out of an expressed need for them, right? Like, so you're meeting a critical area of opportunity for them.
Right.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really cool. And being able to like pour back into that community with your microloan side of things. So it's just this constant kind of ripple effect. Have you guys seen a lot of change in the community since you've been doing this project?
That's a good question. So we met them 2 years ago now. We've been down to Guatemala 3 times, but the first year we met them was kind of like we spent an afternoon with them, like exploratory. We didn't really, like, we had a contact there through our contact, but we, like, that relationship wasn't developed. And so the following year, a year ago, we were able to spend more time with members of the family, members of Leonzo. He's the president of the Coffee Association. His family were able to meet a year ago. And since then, this last year, so we were just there in March, kind of before the world like screwed up, but we actually stayed in their home with them for almost like 5 days, I think. And that was really cool to see, because we were able to ask those questions and like actually see firsthand what they're doing for their community, as opposed to just, you know, going and visiting them for like a day and whatnot. But they more recently they've funded a few like community development projects through the sale of coffee.
Okay.
They have like a clean water project that they were able to do. They've built like specific roads, health clinics, pathways for like young children and students to like go like walk safely to school and like not be on like, a busy road. Certain things like that is where they're reinvesting their profits that they make from coffee.
That's great.
And then on the business side too, this most recent year, with the loan that we helped provide to build a new processing site, they are expanding their capacity as a cooperative in terms of their output. So we've seen that change over the last 2 years. From when we first met them, they were actually renting land from a neighboring operation to process their coffee, but now they have their own processing site, so they're able to hopefully retain more of the economic value of their product. So we've seen a lot of positive change, not only in the community, but also within the business itself, which is really encouraging to see. And it's just great.
Yeah, it reinforces the value of what you guys are doing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you guys have some of your coffee with you that you can show us?
Yeah, I think Scott has a bag. Oh yeah.
Awesome. And so folks can order that online. Is that like the best way people can access the coffee, or like, give us a close up. Get us to see that logo.
Yeah.
Love it.
So Kathryn,
The circle.
stamping queen, she hand stamps all the bags.
Oh, Kathryn.
That's what I'm known for.
You have like a special muscle in your arm now from like all this stamping.
Working it out. Yes. Yep. So we hand stamp all the bags. The bags are all compostable, backyard compostable.
Oh, that's great.
And we predominantly sell online, especially right now during this pandemic. But
the website's just Radical Coffee. What's the website?
It's radicalcoffeeproject.com.
Okay.
And we're at Radical Coffee Project on social media too.
Yeah, so folks can just buy one bag, or we also have subscriptions available for people who regularly want coffee. So there's a lot of options available. A big thing for us over the summer is the Eastern Market here in Detroit. And hopefully we'll be able to get back there.
They're kind of up in the air right now.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to
keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah, get back in at it. So online right now is the best way to go.
Cool. And when people get your coffee, like what kind of flavors or like unique aspects of it should they expect to experience?
So we have right now one option, which might be like a little sad for some people. I know my dad's always asking for if we can do a dark roast, but we have to kind of appeal to all, like everybody. We have a medium roast. It's sold whole bean, so it stays fresh as long as it can. And we describe it as bright, balanced, and full-bodied. So it's not going to be anything like super dark and smoky like a French roast, or like really super acidic and like fruity. It's something that you can like put on the table and like have, well, you used to be able to have friends over, but like everyone.
That's a nice social distance coffee hour way.
Right.
Yeah. You can all drink your Radical coffee separately and everyone will.
Yeah.
Also, one of the good things I found during social distancing is usually I feel like I'm not prepared enough to like make cold brew out of Radical, just because you have to steep it so long, and like I'm never prepared enough. But now that I have nothing but time on my hands, one of the amazing things is that I can now make cold brew, and that's great with Radical because when you heat up coffee, like you lose some of the flavors just because of the high temperatures, but with cold brew, you really get to keep those flavors. And I feel like there's a lot of those underlying flavors that I get to appreciate with the Radical coffee now that I can drink more cold brew. So that's
how are you making your cold brew if folks wanted to make that at home?
So I personally just make it in a French press. I know Scott has like a fancy cold brew thing that he makes it in. But I just steep it in a French press, ground up the coffee, put it in there. I think I wait like 24 hours, which is probably too long. But I like a lot of the caffeine in there.
You want to extract all the goodness.
Yes, everything, every last bit. So that's personally what I do, but I don't know about Morgan and Scott.
Well, typically it's like overnight, so usually 8 hours or more. I don't think I've ever done a 24-hour cold brew steam.
Okay, 8 hours or more. I'm just doing the or more part.
Yeah, we have, I think Scott and I both have, I don't know what the brand is, but we got it off of Trade coffee website, but it's basically like a carafe that has the filter, like the reusable filter in it already. And the most important thing with cold brew is you want to get the grind right. So it's more on like the medium coarse or like coarse grind, kind of like a French press.
Yeah, there's lots of different ways to do it, but typically cold brew is going to be more concentrated than your normal brew. And there's a bunch of different fancy contraptions that people can use, but the most important thing is it depends on how strong you like your coffee. And it's really can be cultured to your taste, and you want, as you wait 8 hours or 24 hours like Kathryn, you just want to make sure that you are leaving the grounds in the water. So that could be in a filter, whether it be like a reusable filter that you have on hand. It could be a paper filter. You can get creative, but the key distinction with cold brew is you leave the grounds to steep in the water, usually overnight or for a full day. In Kathryn's case.
Yeah, you're just letting things hang out for longer.
You guys got to try it. 24 hours. Buzzing all day. Won't regret
I was gonna say the next time we talk, I might be shaking.
Yeah. We like to say that you can use Radical in like whatever brewing method you have, or that you're used to. My parents just have a normal drip, like 12-cup coffee maker. It works just fine with that. I personally really like a French press just because there's no waste. Like there's no filters and whatnot that you have to get for it. And then if I'm traveling, I usually travel a lot, I bring an AeroPress with me because it's super light and it's like a 1-cup single serve thing. But Scott, I know, likes to make pour overs.
Yeah, and that's what you do at Eastern Market for folks, right? You're doing pour overs and the cold brew.
We French press it.
You French press it. Okay.
And then do cold brew. Do a lot of cold brew, especially in the summer because it's cold and really good. But we have like we use like a big bucket that has like a massive like removable filter. So that usually that can pump out like 5 gallons at a time.
Dang.
My dream. It's always cold brew season.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I'm really excited about that. This weekend's going to be a little chilly, but I'm hoping like after this weekend, we're in the clear and it's then solid cold brew.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, you can, Radical's a really good go-to coffee for whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
versatile.
That's why I like it. Like I love the why behind why you guys are doing what you're doing. But I am not a coffee connoisseur. I love coffee and it's like easy drinking. I can make it like a really good cup of coffee in my French press at home. So I appreciate having a very versatile, like well-balanced option from that perspective.
Yeah, that's like exactly what we're going for.
Oh, perfect. There you go. Well, hit the nail on the head, at least for me anyways.
Yeah.
We'll have to steal you for like our Eastern Market booth, Kelly.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm happy to hang out at Eastern Market with you guys anytime.
There's probably a lot of other Taste the Local Difference folks at Eastern Market.
Yeah. A lot of our farm partners. Yeah. And I know you guys hang out with Claire.
Yeah.
Their grains.
Yep.
Yes, we love Tafola.
I'm
We're
proud.
actually out.
I know. I was just about to order some more, actually.
It's so good. That's another one of my obsessions too. It's like this job is so hard because there's so much good food and drink, and I just want to buy and eat it all.
Right.
Yeah. Gotta moderate myself sometimes. Spread the love around.
I don't know. I think you're in a good place, though, Kelly. Like I think it's really cool when you know the story behind what you're buying, and that's kind of like another part of or facet of Radical too. Is like we're trying to get people to be connected with their product and like know where it comes from.
For sure.
You have got your hands in all like sorts of different stuff. Like I'm jealous.
Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to make people, especially now with the way that things are in the world, people kind of call it feeling of not having any power or control over what's going on, and not really knowing where to start. But for us, like literally changing your coffee can produce so many positive impacts, and we're trying to make people realize that you don't have to move a mountain to make the world a better place. You just have to change your coffee, change where you get your granola, change where you get your vegetables. Easy things like that can really make a huge difference, not only in your local economic ecosystem, but in communities across the world. And you as a consumer have so much power to change, we don't say the world, but someone's world. And that's
For sure.
really important to us, and trying to make sure people know that they are superheroes. And just to use their purchasing power for good.
100%. I really appreciate that you shared that, because it's so true. And I kind of want to end on that.
Yeah.
Like that's the salient point that people take home, that like, yeah, we as consumers do have a lot of power to make change, just by small everyday choices that we make. And your coffee is one of those opportunities to make that change.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Kelly. It's great to speak with you, especially now that who knows what the next few weeks are going to bring. So it's great to reconnect with some of our partners. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's super fun to get to see you all as well and catch up and check in. So thanks for sharing your time with us.
Yeah, take care.
Take care. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.